Hi everyone, my name is Tori. This is Novel Life. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my ultimate romantasy TBR. So I am actually so excited for this video. I've been prepping for this video for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I'm over the moon that Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy has created this romantasy bingo template. In her video, she dives into the prompts, the hard mode, the easy mode, all of that. Now, she does have a link where she has a spreadsheet and then a Canva for like the actual bingo card. I use the spreadsheet to basically make my TBR, and then as I finish the books I will use her graphic. So I am super excited to talk about all the books. I don't know how many prompts she has. I can't remember exactly. It's a lot, so I have a lot of books on here. Before we dive into the books that I have to talk about, which I'm very excited for, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is Ana Luisa Jewelry. So I have partnered with Ana Luisa in the past. I'm actually wearing a lot of their pieces. I didn't realize when I put this on. I'm wearing this necklace, which is kind of like their charm necklace that I received previously that I really love. I love like throwing it on with like more of a casual outfit. I'm so excited to talk about the pieces they sent me. The first one is this one. So it's like a watch band bracelet type thing. I have this in gold, but I personally like to mix gold with silver. So this is actually a permanent bracelet that I have on. I just never take it off. It's also from Ana Luisa. For this one, I just like keeping it as like more of a statement piece, especially when I'm wearing a t-shirt. I also have 2 Ana Luisa bracelets that I don't take off on this hand that are also gold. So I like to mix kind of like a statement piece of silver with some gold. So I'm very excited to have that one. Now they are currently having one of their biggest sales of the year where basically everything on their website is 25% off. So if you click the link in the description box below or scan this QR code, it'll take you to their website. You can shop literally everything and it's 25% off, which is actually like really huge because Ana Luisa's jewelry is really affordable. I love their stuff. I think the prices are amazing. And one of the things that you can buy if you wear earrings are these like hoop earrings. They're like paperclip hoop earrings. They're actually really heavy and really high quality, and it has these like dangle spheres on them. This is the Perry hoop earrings in gold, and I really think that these would be like a statement piece for the holidays. So I think those are super cute. One thing I love about this holiday sale is that if you spend over $250, you get a free pair of diamond stud earrings, which okay, like you get all your gifts for everyone else and you still get something free for yourself. I'm all for that. Another piece I'm excited to wear this season, holiday season, is more of like a dainty piece. Let me see if we can zoom in. This little dainty piece, it's like a paper clip, which is like really cute, called Juniper in gold, in the gold finish. And I love more daintier necklaces with a statement piece. Like this will be perfect for layering. Like I technically could wear it right now. I love their pieces so much. I actually have a matching bracelet to this one, so I will be wearing that one. But like I said, if you click the link in the description box below or scan this QR code, you'll be taken to Ana Luisa's website to shop. They have a 2-year warranty on all of their pieces. They are a climate neutral company, which I absolutely love. There's just so many things about Ana Luisa that I personally love. So like I said, check out their collection, grab all your gifts for everyone, and then you get free diamond studs if you spend over $250 for yourself, which I think is pretty cool. But thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. So now into my romantasy bingo TBR. So Cassidy said that this basically runs from November 1st, 2025, so it's already been going for a little over a month now, to October 31st, 2026. So a lot of the books I'm going to talk about, some I try to pick that were new releases that were coming out next year if I know that they're coming out next year. I added them to prompts if it worked. Some I own physically on my shelves, but there's just too many to take down, so I'm just going to pop up the picture and I'll tell you which ones I own and which ones I want to get to. So I tried to mix for this TBR. I tried to do hard mode for everything. I think I did, but I do have a couple missing, so I'll ask for your recommendations. But like I said, we have a lot of books to talk about. I'm very excited. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. So the first prompt that she has is a new release, pubbed the year that you read it. And if you want to do hard mode, it's a debut author. And I have the perfect book for this, which has been on my TBR for a little while, and that is To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. So I've heard people talk about this book. I actually just placed a hold for the audiobook at my library for this one, but it is available in Kindle Unlimited, the ebook is. So if I don't get to the audio in December, because I definitely want to read it in December, since it technically came out in 2025, that's the prompt. It's a new release and pubbed the year that you read it. So I definitely want to get to this one. And she's a debut author, and I've heard really good things. It's a dystopian fast paced. I think it's a forbidden romance if I'm not mistaken. So I just heard really great things and I want to see what this is about. So yeah, this is definitely one I'm very excited for. The next prompt is hidden identity, but the hard mode is not royalty. And that's really hard to know, especially like when you recommend books, sometimes people will be like, oh yeah, they have hidden identities, but they don't say if it's like a royal or not. Some of the books that I've chosen for these prompts, I do think they will fit, but when I read them, if they happen to not fit, but fit in another prompt, we'll like work around it, kind of a thing. But these are just some books that I definitely want to read, Romantasy books in particular. So the one that I chose for this one is Dawn of Chaos and Fury by Melissa K. Rourke, which technically I already read it. I had an early copy and I read it in November. Still counts because it's after November 1st. So that one is hidden identity, and I don't think she's a royal. Like, I can't say what it is. I personally don't think it's like true royalty. Something more than that. So I think it counts. I'm stretching it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it counts. So I've already had one on my bingo card kind of like checked off, which I'm very excited for. But like that's kind of how it'll work. I didn't have a book for this prompt and I read this and I was like, actually technically it could work. So I put it into that one. So I'm very excited for that one. So one down. I don't know how many to go, but that's one prompt that I did fulfill on hard mode. Okay, the next prompt is take down the system. Hard mode is dystopian setting. What I chose is not coming out till next year, and that's Broken Dove by Danny Francis. So I read Silver Elite this year. I really enjoyed that book. I really enjoyed the world. Definitely dystopian setting. She's basically taking down the system from within. That's what happens in Silver Elite, and I think that's going to expand more into Broken Dove. So this will be for that one. Like I said, I really enjoyed the romance in the first book. I loved that, you know, we got to know our female character, we got to know more about our hero in the first book, and I think in the second book we'll definitely expand on that. Now technically, if you wanted to read this book but you already had a prompt for take down the system, this could fit into another prompt later where it's the voice inside your head, not an animal companion, because they do talk to each other within like through their minds. I'm very excited for that one. That one, like I said, doesn't come out till next year though. So the next prompt is BIPOC author. In hard mode is flowers on the cover, which I feel like a lot of Romantasy books do have flowers on the cover. Going back and forth between two books. One is a new release that came out this year, but I didn't know if it could fit any other prompts because I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. So it is on my TBR. I just don't have like a fit into a prompt. But the one for this one is Vicious Bonds by Shanora Williams. So I've actually read Shanora Williams in the past. I've read her contemporary stuff, and I'm very excited to read this one. One of my friends on Instagram, Caitlin, has been talking about this series. It's a trilogy, so this is the first book in the trilogy, and it's on Kindle Unlimited, and the audiobooks are out. So if I wanted to grab the audiobook, I knew that. I think it came out last year, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm very excited for this one. I don't really read the blurb of my Romantasies, so yeah, I'm very excited for this one. But Caitlin over on Instagram, she gave it high praises, so I have high hopes for this one. The next prompt is first person, and hard mode is a new to you author. So I don't know if this book specifically fits this prompt. I think it may, but I could be wrong. It's The Forgotten Dawn by Laura A. Blake. So I was actually kindly gifted an audiobook copy from the author. She reached out a couple of months ago and was like, hey, would you want an audio code to listen to my new Romantasy? And I was like, absolutely. And then it got buried into all the other books that I have on my Audible account. So I want to make this like front and center for this one. I don't know. Usually for first person, it's hard if you try to like look up like if it's in first person. Some people don't always know that. So this one I have plugged into because she is a new to me author, but I could move it around to maybe another prompt depending on when I read it and see if it fits. But I am very excited for this one. I've heard really good things, so I have high hopes. I think she's a debut author with Romantasy, but I'm still really excited. Okay, the next prompt is blank of blank. Okay, and then the hard mode is not Fae, which is, I feel like that's really, really hard because I've read a lot of books that have like the blank of blank, but they are Fae, and the ones I had on my TBR were all Fae. So this is the only one I can think of, Kingdom of Claw by Demi Winters, because it's blank of blank. It's not the Kingdom of Claw, it's just Kingdom of Claw. This is book 2. In the Ashen series, I do have this one on my shelves. I've been having it since it was indie published. I just have to continue. I read Road of Bones back in 2024. Yeah, 2024, and I really enjoyed it. I still remember it. I don't even have to reread it. Like, I remember the ending because it was very shocking to me. So I do have this one, but this second book, I know the third book comes out in 2026, so I don't remember actually. It could be Dawn of the North. It's a Dawn of the North or Dawn of North. I can't remember. Anyway, this second book fits the prompt. So even if I read books 2 and 3, this one definitely fits it. I don't think she's Fae. I have to double check. She has powers. but it doesn't necessarily say she is fae. So I'm very intrigued. I have to like look into that because I don't remember if she's fae or not. It's like not really mentioned. But anyway, I am excited. I hope this fits the prompt. If I don't do it on hard mode, 1 out of the, I don't know how long this list is, that's okay. Okay, next prompt is Indie to Trad Pipeline. And hard mode is a sequel, and I have the perfect book for this, Light Wielder by Rachel Snyder. So Cassidy did say in her video, the Indie to Trad Pipeline could be like the first book was indie and the second book is now Trad published because it got picked up. So that counts. So that's why I'm picking this book. I did read Metal Slinger when it was indie published, and then in 2024, and then 2025 it was now Trad published. So the sequel, the second book, Light Wielder, is coming out I think in the summer next year, June if I'm not mistaken, 2026. So I am very excited for this one. I loved Metal Slinger. I cannot wait to reread it at some point, but this one is a sequel and it's Indie to Trad Pipeline, so check mark there. Okay, the next prompt is Rep Matters, and it could be own voices. So I'm someone, I have a disability and I have a chronic illness. I always love to read that rep, but I always reach out for those anyway. So I wanted to challenge myself to read something like not chronic illness rep or disability rep. So I wanted to read Infinity Alchemist by Case and Calendar. This one I actually do have on my shelf. I bought it when I was on a trip somewhere and I love the hardback of it. I think it's more fantasy-esque than like romantasy, but I think it still would count because they have like a subplot of romance. But this has a LGBTQ character, and Case and Calendar is a trans author. So I'm very excited for this, that it is own voices. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a polyamorous kind of like fantasy with a romance subplot. I'm all here for that, so I'm very excited for that. So I wanted to challenge myself to do like a different rep than what like I normally would pick up on a normal day. So I'm very excited for that one, but I do own that book. The next prompt is start a new series, and the hard mode is author who writes in multiple genres. So there are a lot of authors I know that could fit into this category, but one that I chose was Half City by Kate Golden. So Kate Golden kind of goes back and forth between the like romantasy and contemporary genre. So I think last year she finished her Dawn of Onyx trilogy, which I thought that one was fine. I never completed the series. I never had like the urge to, but that was actually an indie book first, and I read it when it was indie, and then now that it picked up, I had really no desire to continue. And then in 2025 she actually released a contemporary romance, which is Not Your Baby, or Not My Baby, I think, or something like that, and I never got around to reading it, but I've heard a lot of good things, and this cover is really intriguing to me. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, this does come out next year, but it's to start a new series, and she writes both in romantasy and contemporary romance, so it counts for that one. Okay, the next prompt is urban setting, and the hard mode is a secondary world which is not ours. So this is kind of hard because I think urban setting is most of the time it's Earth-like. Like obviously Crescent City is a big one. Then I remembered that Terror at the Gates basically has its own map. It's not in our world. It's like different territories. So technically it counts as a secondary world, but still an urban fantasy setting. So I decided to do Coiled at the Roots by Scarlett St. Clair. So like I said, this is the sequel to Terror at the Gates, which I read this year and absolutely loved. So I have really high hopes for the second book. This one doesn't come out, I think, until this summer or fall next year. That's totally fine. This goes through October 31st, so I'm pretty sure it's going to come out before then, but I have really high hopes for this one. The next prompt is Ghost and Ghouls, and the hard mode is Love Interest is One. I actually took this recommendation from Cassidy. She said she wanted to read it and it fit into this prompt, but it is Vessalus by Courtney L. Len. So this could work for Indie to Trad because it was indie published, and I actually had it downloaded in Kindle Unlimited for a really long time, but then I returned it because I was just like not in the fantasy mood. But I do have high hopes for this one. I think he is kind of like a spirit ghost. Like he has like a form that can be seen in this world, and then he can kind of like go into like his ghost form. I don't know if that's actually true. That's the vibe I get, but I am very excited. And then she is apparently like some princess or something, and he needs to like take her down or something. I'm very excited. It looks really good. I actually love both the indie cover and the trad cover. They're very similar, but I have high hopes for that one. Okay, the next prompt is A Voice Inside Your Head, Not an Animal Companion. So this one I actually decided to do Brimstone by Callie Hart. I actually forgot that they actually can talk to each other. The main two characters can talk to each other, but you see that in Quicksilver. So when I reread Quicksilver, I was like, oh, they can talk to each other. I can add Brimstone. I'm currently reading Brimstone because I'm filming this in November still. So I will have this completed by the time this video goes up, but I am very excited to see the ending of this book. I'm at 70. Currently I'm reading and I'm at 70%. So I have really high hopes that it's going to be a good book, but fingers crossed. But that one will also be a check mark for this bingo already. The next prompt is a friend recommendation, and hard mode is from Covers with Cassidy's channel. So I usually get a lot of my recs from Cassidy and my friend Rachel from Raven Haired Reader, but one series, it's actually a duet that she talks about a lot, is the House of Bane and Blood series. And I read the first book, House of Bane and Blood, but the second book, A City of Mirth and Malice by Alexis L. Minard, I have not read. I do have the audiobook, and I was actually sent the new copy, the new trad book, because it's trad published now. I was actually sent the second book, so I do have it on my shelves as well. I'm very excited to get to this one. I just cannot believe I hadn't finished this duet. They're not very long, but I'm very interested. I really like this world. So the next prompt is Book Talk Hype. And this one I was a little nervous because Book Talk can change. Like month to month it changes. So obviously I can kind of like put another book that's like in February of 2026 that it becomes like the new Romantasy Book Talk book, right? But the hard mode is still indie at the time of reading. And I'm pretty sure that Hollow by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is a brand new series. I've had this on my TBR for a while. This one's still indie published, if I'm not mistaken. So if it's not, I'll take it out, or I still might read it, or I might just wait for another indie fantasy romance next year to pick up. So that one I can kind of move around. Same thing with this next prompt. It's forbidden romance, but not enemies to lovers. That is so hard to find, so I left this one blank. So if you have a recommendation for a Romantasy for me for this one, you can let me know, or I might just wait to see what I pick up in 2026. The next prompt is Trials, and the hard mode is an academic setting. If I'm not mistaken, The Ascended by Greenwich and Linux, that is Trials, but in an academic setting. I could be wrong, like I said, so I can move that around, but I have heard that you have to read, oh my god, is it Fireborn? Oh my gosh, what is the title? Hang on. Oh, Riftborn and Duskbound by this authors. You have to read those first. I've heard it. I posted on my Instagram story. I'm still waiting for people to like hone in and like tell me their thoughts, but I'm pretty sure you do. So I might have to read that duet before I read the Ascended. So that could be 2 more books I add to this, but that one I currently have for that one. The next prompt is 2+ love interest, and this is not a love triangle. So basically why choose, anything like that. I chose Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. I actually was sent a arc of this book from the publisher for the first book. It's now trad published with Source Books and Bloom. So I am very excited for that one. I just know that it has multiple love interest. I think it's 3 or 4 if I'm not mistaken. The next prompt is Single POV, published 5 or more years ago. So I do have a couple of options on my shelves, but I'm gonna wait and see, because I may be into a more like fantasy mood next year. So I feel like one of like the older OG fantasies with like a subplot of romance could fit into this. So I'm gonna leave this one blank. Next prompt is Court Setting with an animal on the cover. And I tentatively put the Raven Scholar because I really like the cover and it fits the prompts. I am pretty sure it's a court setting. I looked it up when I added it, but I am very excited. I think this is one of those books where it's more fantasy with an undercurrent of a romance, and I'm totally fine with that. I think that still counts as romantasy. I'm just not as spicy or heavy in that, and I'm totally fine with that. So the next prompt is A Whole New World. In parentheses, it says Portal Fantasy. And then hard mode is a retelling / reimagining. I tentatively put Spinning Silver by Naomi Novak, and this could technically go into single POV published more than 5 years ago. I just don't know if it is single POV. Most of the time you have to read them. So this could be flip-flopped between different prompts, but I do have that one. The next prompt is Reluctant Allies to Lovers, and that's Marriage of Convenience. I chose Primal of Blood and Bone by JLA, because this one technically, from the beginning of the series, from Blood and Ash, technically this could count as that, and this book actually just came out, but I have to catch up. The next prompt is a one-word title, but Gothic is hard mode. I chose Eldritch by Carrie Lake. I did read Anathema last year, I think it was, and I really enjoyed it. So this is kind of like the sequel follow-up to that. I could obviously change this out as more Gothic romances come out, especially in the fall next year. That's really when I read Gothic romances. But I tentatively have this one. The next prompt is Shifter Romance, and it's not Wolves for hard mode, and I chose Throne of Ice and Blood by Marion Blackwood. So I did read Empire, oh my gosh, of Ice and something, Flames and Thorns, Empire Flames and Thorns, and actually the hero in that book is a dragon shifter. He like can shift into a dragon. He's one of the most powerful ones. Not everyone can shift, but he can, and he's part of the second book, so I do want to continue on with that series, so I'm counting that one. The next prompt is Weapon on the Cover. The hard mode is Powerless Main Character. I am going to choose the Wolf King series, book number 3. We don't have a title. Or we don't have a cover yet. but I'm pretty sure it'll have a weapon on the cover, considering like the vibes of each of the first and second book. So I could obviously move that one out, but I will be continuing that series when it comes out next year. So I wanted to put a placeholder. So that's a tentative, but a lot of fantasies, romantasies have weapons on the cover, so I can change it out anytime. But our female character in the Wolf King series is powerless. So far in the second book, she is. I don't know if it'll come out in the third book. That series is wild and anything goes in that series. And the last prompt is a chunky series of 4+ books, and the hard mode is a series is interconnected with another. And I chose Lady of Embers by Melissa K. Rourke. So I have 2 books left in the Lady of Darkness series. I have Lady of Embers and then Lady of Starfire, if I'm not mistaken. Last 2 books. So there's 5 books in that series, which I'm really excited for, and it is actually interconnected with the Legacy series. It's all in the Chaosphere. Is it called Chaosphere? Chaosphere? I think that's what they call it. It's her world, and they're all kind of like interconnected, but they're different realms. So that counts for that one. But oh my gosh, how many books was that? That was 25 prompts with 25-ish books, 20 to 25 books. That was a lot of books that I've thrown at you, but let me know if you are participating in this Romantasy bingo that Cassidy has created. I don't always do like fun games or like TBR games or anything like that, but I actually thought that this was really fun and I wanted to do it for 2026. So one of my goals is to do more kind of like challenges like this. So if you want to see more from me like that, also, please let me know in the comments down below. But once again, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is Ana Luisa Jewelry. Make sure you check the link in the description box below or scan this QR code to check out their biggest holiday sale of the year, and you get 25% off everything on their website. And if you spend more than $250, you get a free gift for yourself, which is really cool. But if you made it this far and you want to let me know, leave me a dagger emoji, like a sword emoji, since we're talking about a lot of fantasy stuff. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.